I have a lot on my mind tonight. I just got home from a gig. And I told myself, don't do it, Keith. And then some part of me said, do it, Keith. It's really not my mind. It's more about information. And I emphatically know it to be true. And I always say the truth does not need anyone's permission to exist. Please take that in for a moment. The truth does not need anyone's permission to exist. So what is this truth, Keith, that is so powerful late night after a gig, you just want to get online and say it? Before I get into it and involved, my presentation, my sharing has nothing to do with blaming other people. Has nothing to do with being mad at the system. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. Except bringing information forward that is vital. Vital. For the survival and the expansion of humanity. Wow, that sounds like an amazing broadcast is about to happen. It is. So what I'm asking you to do is to take it in from a perspective and from the place of, I'm just going to take it in and listen. Hello, Lynette. It may sound very strange to you. You may even feel awkward. You may even feel dumb or ignorant, to use a better word without such a heavy connotation. In fact, it's very likely you will not be able to believe what you're about to hear. Hello, Cheryl. All right, Keith, enough with the cliffhanger already. For those who know me, know that when I research something, hello, Sella Adams, that when I research something, I don't jack around. I follow the rabbit into the hole. Hello, Dorothy. I follow the rabbit into the hole. Thank you, Cheryl, for sharing the video. And I bring a shovel, a golden shovel, so that when the rabbit hole ends, I dig a little further. I don't believe anything. I don't. I may start off as a belief. I believe this is possible. Hello, Tina. But I follow my belief further and further into a situation that I will prove to a person, not by being arrogant, but that I would prove to someone that it's either real or it's a crock of shit. Sarisha. So what I'm bringing forth tonight in this presentation may sound strange. Keith, you have lost it. From a normal perspective, I have lost it. But from an out-of-the-box kind of thinking, I found it. Hello, little Gavin. What's up, little man? Here we go. And if you would, for those in the room now, or in the future, but for those in the room now, in the comment section where you could type something, Lynette says, thank God you lost it. In the comment section, If this applies to you, put an exclamation point in the comment box. Do you like being controlled to any degree? Put an exclamation point in the comment box if you do not. On any level, like being told what to do, not only directly, but being manipulated beyond your own will. Put an exclamation point in the box. Lynette says, exclamation point. And so if you're in this room now, please don't not post an exclamation point. Cheryl puts an exclamation point. And I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait to everyone in this room, which I think is about 5 people so far. Dorothy, Kayleen, Gavin, Cheryl, Lynette, Sela, and Lori. Nobody likes being controlled and or manipulated. Hello, friend, beautiful friend. That being said, I'm going to repeat my disclaimer. Mr. Spiritual Keith, right? This is not about being a victim. This is not about being in a power-sapping, powerless mindset. It's about divulging some very powerful, enlightening information to the masses. For many years, I have studied the presence of extraterrestrials. This is also not about making you afraid. Since I was a child, I have been visited and targeted. I consider myself as a title. Hello, Zach Bear. My boss, my friend, my brother. It's about empowering you with information. Since I was a child, I've been visited. And when I ask you the question, does anybody like being manipulated? Everybody put an exclamation point implying, no, I don't. What I am about to tell you, you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree. You can call me a kook. I really don't care. Prepare yourself for what's coming down the pike very soon in the future. You don't have to believe it. Just prepare yourself to the possibility. What is happening on planet Earth today, the Earth is all the buzz. Hello, Eric. The Earth is actually becoming a star. You may say, well, Keith, I'm very scientific minded, and the Earth cannot become a star. And I'm telling you, it can. Because the universal gaze is upon humanity and the Earth. So we're becoming a star, as in rock star, movie star. And everything we do is gleaned by other civilizations. So we can all graduate to another level. Here's the cliffhanger I've been making you hold out to glean. How does it feel to you if what I told you was the truth? Not true, but the truth. That for hundreds of thousands of years, more so recently, since the late 30s, that planet Earth and humanity has been manipulated by an extraterrestrial race. Take that in for a moment. You don't have to like me. You can delete me. You don't have to believe me. Just take that in for a moment. Again, it's not about making you fearful. It's about empowering you. How does that feel? It's rhetorical. We know how it feels. We understand it. In the late 30s, the Nazis made contact with an extraterrestrial race called the reptilians or draconians. The Bible even talks about the draconians, the reptilians. We know demons to be serpent, scaly, snake-like. Your best ploy, our best ploy, is to get out of the idea that, oh my God, demons are taking over. It's erroneous thinking. But if you see it as beings from another plane or dimension, it takes the heavy religious connotation off of it. The possession kind of connotation off of it. Hello, Heather. Hello, Bryce. Eric says Slee Stacks. Hiss. Absolutely, Eric. Back in the old in the 70s, when there was that show, what was it called? Land of the Lost. Humanity has been manipulated and still is being, or at least attempting to be manipulated by an extraterrestrial, reptilian, draconian race. They're 14 foot tall. The moon, the dark side of the moon, is a command module. The moon is not a natural satellite. It's not a natural phenomenon. The moon was grown by nanobots way across the galaxy and dragged all the way over here. The reason it has all these crater impacts is because it was dragged across the galaxy. The moon is hollow. There are representatives from almost every country on this planet hanging out on the dark side of the moon, making deals with extraterrestrial races. The majority, 22 of them, in fact, 22 races, and they all have their agenda. And many of them are responsible for the growth and the expansion of humanity to our current point. Most of them are here to help humanity and help us graduate, and in turn helping themselves so that we can all move up another rung on Jacob's ladder. The spiritual ladder, the spiritual ladder, the spirit ritual ladder, the spiritual ladder. Cosmic disclosure is coming really soon. What is cosmic disclosure? For example, if you're watching me talk to you now, or watching the news tomorrow, or watching your favorite Game of Thrones episode, or talking to your grandmother on the phone, that it all gets interrupted. And the good people that are in the government, in certain programs, are wanting to inform you, to tell you this is the truth. Many people will flock to churches. Many people will run away from churches because they're disappointed they were never told about it. And many people will not believe what they're hearing. And many other people will find the indigo energy in them and go, oh my God, I knew from the day I was born this was going to happen, even though I didn't think about it because I have a 9-to-5 grind. And the day has come. Hang on to your ass. It's not only coming, it's here. Right now it's called soft disclosure. They're giving it to us in movies. They're giving it us to in this and that in books. We're being prepared. It's not an invasion. An invasion is never going to happen. This planet was created with an intention for divine reality. Heaven on earth. It's a prophecy. Heaven on earth. We become the embodiments of heaven on earth. But we will not be able to do that until we take in the information that I am imparting to you now through this highway we call Facebook. Watch the movie They Live with Randy, what is his name? Randy Piper, the actor. Watch it. They Live. It's not far from the truth. In fact, it's exactly. It's called the Cabal. It's called the Illuminati. It's called Nazi Germany. Hitler did not, by the way, Hitler did not put a pistol in his mouth, and neither did Ava take a suicide pill. No bodies were ever found. They jetted to Argentina and then went to Antarctica. Antarctica is a no-fly zone. It's a no-go zone. You cannot, without having, what's that called? No need to know. You don't go to Antarctica. People say, well, Keith, when cosmic disclosure comes out, it's just a bunch of people trying to tell us what they think is happening. I hear you. But when the ice begins to melt in Antarctica and all that is left is a lost civilization from hundreds of thousands of years ago, what are you going to do with that? Because the ice is melting. Bryce says, rest in peace, Roddy Piper. I didn't know he passed away. Star Wars is not as far-fetched as you imagine. In fact, the asteroid belt in our immediate solar space, where did that come from? Because a long time ago, there was a super Earth. A super Earth. And like on Star Wars, the weaponized moon that blew up Princess Leia's home planet, a weaponized moon in space blew up the super Earth. And that is our asteroid belt. Keith, this is absolutely ridiculous. I know. That is why it is the truth. If you want more information, not to be arrogant because you want me to take you into a rabbit hole that you may not be prepared to enter, but yet are willing, contact me. I will even buy you lunch. And I will show you documents. I will show you videos. I will give you information that will flabbergast you. The reptilian influence has infiltrated the government, the Vatican. Believe it or not, the Vatican, this is not implying nor saying that anyone involved in government and or the Vatican has an ill agenda. That is not what I'm saying. And if you think I'm saying that, you don't know me very well. So stop it. There are many people in the Vatican and the religious movement and many people in the government and all seats of power who are seriously taking their vocations very seriously. And they're trying to change humanity to whatever level they are able to do so without jeopardizing themselves or their family. The Vatican has many levels underground, maybe like 7 to 10 levels underground. And they have things in there they will never, ever, ever, ever let you know about until it's time. Because they have an agenda. Hello, my dear brother, Mr. Steve Lancaster. Let me tell you about what's going on in England. This is not about making you upset. It's not about making you lose your faith. In fact, it's about just the opposite. To empower you so you feel imbued with divine fire. What is happening on earth, dear Lord, what is happening on earth is not about the earth. What is happening on earth is not about the earth. It's about the cosmos. It's cosmic. It's galactic. In fact, it's on the inner planes. It's angelic. It's not about making you afraid. It's about empowering you with the truth. Watch the movie with Roddy Piper, They Live. As Eric said, watch the old 70s series called Land of the Lost. There are beings who have been influencing our government officials, our religious leaders, and many of us. Check this out. When I said at the beginning of this broadcast, how does it feel to be manipulated? Put an exclamation point in the comment box if you don't like it. And everybody did. We are being influenced. Bryce, I will get to your question shortly about the Nordics. We are being influenced. When I asked you a minute ago, how does it feel to be manipulated? Again, this is not about blaming others as if I'm a victim. How does it feel to be manipulated? Would you believe me, at least entertain the idea that when I share with you that there is a race of being, the reptilians, and an influence of theirs, that by using their consciousness alone, they're holding us down. They're keeping us at bay. Eric says we are living the metaphor. Absolutely, bro. By their thought alone, we call it spiritually, we call it the veil. We call it demonic. We call it evil. We can call it extraterrestrials because there are extraterrestrials because they're not of this plane. So they're alien-like. Get the demon concept out of it. It makes it so much easier to digest, process, and assimilate and use into action. With their mere thought, they are creating a veil. But it's also self-induced. It's part of our own karma. It's not blaming them. It's about we are creating them to be in our experience that manifest the veil that we would likely go outside of ourselves and say, you need to quit doing this to us. That is not how it works. It's ignorance. So there are beings influencing us. So I am imparting this information to you. Do the research. If you don't want to do the research, call me up, come hang out with me. I will buy you lunch. I'm not here to convince you because you're not broken. I know what the color white looks like. It doesn't look like yellow. It doesn't look like green. It looks like white. And so I know what I have learned as I have looked out and about in my life. Again, this is not about blame. 9/11, World War II, Pearl Harbor, the Nazis. We have been lied to. Not about blaming everybody who lied to us. Still, the point is we have been lied to. And when we take responsibility, as Maria has just said in the forum, and no longer blaming the system, the bad people, the reptilians, the bad government, or the bad whatevers, that's all irrelevant. That is so irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's only relevant because it's an elephant. It's an elephant in the room, and it's irrelevant. As Eric said, boom, boom, boom. It's noise. We are the children of light. We're the children of our divine parent. And when we see the truth, this is not earthly. This is galactic, cosmic, and stellar, and universal, and divine. Light, dark. But really, it's not about light, dark. It's about taking those two aspects of the extremes and bringing them together in a state of absolute wholeness. Wholeness. The word holy comes from wholeness. And Jesus showed us exactly where that's at. He died on the cross to show it to you metaphorically by making himself vulnerable, whether you know he did this or not. Christ on the cross. A vertical plane comes down. Heaven comes down. Horizontal plane goes across. Earth goes across. Heaven on earth. And look where they intersect. Right there. It's not about the good. It's not about the bad. It's not about the light. It's not about the dark. It's about the wholeness that happens everywhere. In every photon, in every molecule, in every atom, in every human being is the light and the dark. And we'll begin to unify those two aspects of the universal yet individual self. Something that is a third component begins to happen. That's called the phoenix rising through the ashes. That's called the Christ. That's called the birth of the Christ, the rebirth of the Christ. It's called the blossoming of the lotus flower. We are made of stardust, carbon, all these different elements. We have been and they are still attempting to influence us, to make us drunk and stupid and dumbing us down, spraying the skies, chemtrails, HARP in Alaska, using sub-audio frequencies to shift landmass to create earthquakes. They're manipulating the weather. I'm not trying to make you mad at these people, because in doing so goes nowhere and furthers us into the problem. You can water the weed or water the plant. And as long as we are upset at these people for doing these things, we're watering the plant, the weed, excuse me. But what we do in turn, we turn to the plant and we begin to water that by giving it our attention. By using this information I am giving you, as well as many other people all across the world, to tell you that there are extraterrestrials influencing humanity. Now, on the dark side of the moon, as I said earlier, there are beautiful, high-level, vibrational extraterrestrials that in fact don't need bodies to exist in. They are in a higher plane, a higher dimension. They are here involved in the expansion of humanity because they are karmically bound to us and we are karmically bound to them. So in their best interest, they are here to help us, which helps them free themselves to graduate to another level of the spiritual ladder, Jacob's ladder, the spiritual ladder, the spiritual ladder. You don't have to believe me. You can call me a kook. Trust me, I am so okay with it. Steven Spielberg knows something. Always has. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. When I told you earlier that the Nazis were involved with making contact with an extraterrestrial race called the Draconians or the Reptilians. Raiders of the Lost Ark is not as far-fetched as you might imagine. The Nazis were looking for something. They were literally looking, as in the movie, for the Ark of the Covenant. They were also looking for a Christed soul in a coffin, because they believed that if they found these two powerful aspects, divine tools, that they could level the world by being influenced by an extraterrestrial race who charged them to do so. Chew on that. Justin says, we are a perfect design. And Justin, we are also have been influenced by great extraterrestrial beings who made us star seeds. Many like 7, I believe between 7 and 9, got together and manipulated DNA so we can become human. So, because they are actually charged by the divine to create our race so we can be the successful experiment to be the first that has ever happened in the universe to become the embodiments of heaven and earth. God on a physical plane. So there are brilliant, beautiful extraterrestrials who have helped us evolve to this place. That's why they and we are karmically bound. Justin says we are a perfect design. They are trying to tear us apart from our divine power within, which is our spirit. The best way I can put it, speaking truth, my friend. Thank you, sir. Hello, Mr. Brian Harden, my bro him. Oh, by the way, Brian Harden is in the thread. Tomorrow on Head to Head, Heart to Heart, I'm going to be doing a conversation with my brother Brian on my wall about 7 o'clock. I don't know the time, but I think I asked Brian for 7. He said, sure. I don't remember because I don't have my notes in front of me, but I think it's going to be about something like, what is love? Brian, do you remember? Please share it. What is love? Being in service. Brian, please share that in the feed so I can announce it. So let me get to some of these comments and questions. Bryce says, Admiral Byrd, yeah. Not familiar with the Admiral. Cheryl said it's all perception. Sella, I think that's who you pronounce your name, or Sella. Not me, I come from the stars, but I'm visiting. I dig it. My lotus flower needs to be fluffed. Go on a date. Jason. Fran says, our job is to hold the vibration of love. Absolutely, dear. Cheryl says, another dimensional realm. Sella says, there you go. Jesus entered a ship. The ladder, smiling. Sella says we are all the little nerd-ons. Oh, Brian, the name of the show tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central Time. Brian, if that, I think we talked about 7. 7 o'clock tomorrow, my interview with Brian David Harden. Rock and roll producer of many styles of music. Artists we have all heard throughout the years, over 130 plus gold albums to his credit. I'll say this every time Brian comes in the room, because Brian deserves his credit. He's lived his heart. Someone living their heart needs their kudos. The show tomorrow that I'm going to do with him is called How to Save the World in One Easy Step. I absolutely love the title of that. I got to get something special to me. Give me 30 seconds. Bryce says the golden rule. I love the golden rule, Bryce. But it seems that we're in a time period where whoever has the gold makes the rules. So tonight earlier, I did mention, if you have not seen the movie with Roddy Piper called They Live, it paints a picture of what's happening on Earth and how we are being manipulated by an extraterrestrial race. Again, it's not to make you afraid. It's to empower you. All right, Keith, now that you've empowered me with this information, what do I do with that? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. The light of awareness is enough. Hold up, now that you know the truth, whether you believe it yet fully or not, hold the file open. and realize the earth is not the earth. The earth is cosmic. Now that you know that this shenanigans may be going on with many different governmental figures on the other side of the moon, do you know that there are humans, that humans occupy local space? There are 200,000 plus people on Mars. Chew on that. There are people who live in Jupiter. Humans. Chew on that. Keith, this is nuts. I love it. There have been humans who have never stepped foot on Earth because their parents have been out in space for so long that they gave birth to offspring. Humans occupy local space. Let me give you a piece of information. Why is Antarctica as barren as we have been taught it is so important? Not only is there a Stargate there, there is a Supergate there. A Supergate. Have you ever seen the movie Men in Black? I think it's 2, Men in Black 2. When they walk into this place and you stand on this podium like an assembly line, next, 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 and people just zip out into space. This is taking place in Antarctica. This is really going to kick your ass. Why do you think some years ago, I'm not saying this is the only reason, that Iraq was so important to the military and conquering it? Because there's a Supergate there in Iraq. Do the research. I'm not condoning bad people's behavior. People's bad behavior. When Saddam Hussein had a noose around his neck, he said with all fervor, "I don't understand why you are doing this to me." Why was Osama bin Laden captured, killed, and tossed out to sea so quickly? I'm just asking very simple questions. If we are the world police, why didn't we not go into Rwanda? Because there's nothing there. Brian has been posting links in this thread in the theater. I have no doubt whatever it is Brian is posting deserves your attention. For whatever points I'm making, he's probably echoing it or doing something to his cleverness that I know he's a brilliant mind. Please follow those links because you can bet shortly after I will follow them myself. And Eric says, Stargate or not, Operation Iraqi Liberation spells oil. Maria says, I've always believed in stargates and portals. Eric says, regardless of how history is written, many of us exist between the characters, between the lines. If you have not heard this yet, Let me be the first to tell you, welcome to 2018. Or as I say, welcome to 2000 great teen. The period in your life where meditating on the enigma of God becomes mandatory. Dear Lord, let me say that again. I can feel it. Welcome to 2000 great teen. When meditating on the enigma of God becomes mandatory. Because we are living in a time right now where we will have to rethink what we think divine is. We're in a period in our existence where we will have to rethink what we think divinity actually is. Chew on that. Bryce says, well, aren't we in the 1700s because about 200 years ago we faked in history? Yeah, right. But here's the thing, Bryce. I love your point. I get your history and your time paradox and your measurement stick. That's all actually erroneous thinking now, because we're living in in fact, I was going to say we're living in a time, but that is not the truth. We're no longer living in a time. We're living in a space. And there is no time. In fact, everyone in this room there's no way you can disagree with me when I tell you or share with you. And if so, give me an exclamation point, everybody. And don't leave yourself out if you agree with this statement. Everyone would now agree that there is no longer 24 hours in a day. If you agree with that statement, give me an exclamation point. We're no longer living in a 24-hour-a-day experience. Is that a true statement? Brian says, exclamation point. And check this out. Here's the paradox. Maria says, exclamation point. Eric says, exclamation point. Justin topped it. Justin raised the bar. He said, triple exclamation point. Because I love you, Keith, you don't know me. Shut the front door. Because I love you, I want to give you Dorothy says exclamation point. Cheryl says exclamation point. Let me give you a powerful piece of information. I'm going to say the same thing again, but Kayleen says exclamation point. Let me give you a powerful piece of information. The same thing I just said, but I'm going to add something to it that's going to give you a spin. We're no longer living in a time in our life. We're living in a space. So there's no more time. And as my dear brother Brian would say, you can choose to live in yum or yuck. And because we're no longer living in time, the space that you're living in will become exponentially filled with yum or disgustingly overflowing with yuck. And God loves you so much because God is now present. It's always been present. But God is now, quote, so to speak, air quotes, active and moving. It's not so dormant. It's going to give you everything you want right here and right now. We're no longer living in time. We're living in a space, a divine space. Even if your life goes awry and is horrible by your standards, it's still a divine life. Because in the horribleness, the phoenix will eventually rise, be it in this life or another experience after this experience. Cheryl says time does not exist anymore. It does not. Now, here's to continue on what I said, you're either living in yum or yuck. When you're living in your joy, take this in. when you're living in your bliss, in your joy, you could do this for like 3 hours. And next thing you know, you're going, oh my God, is it time to quit? I play music for a living. And after my third set, though I'm tired, somewhat looking forward to the end, I'm still ready to go. If you're doing something you love, time flees from you. Because you're not living in time. You're living in your space, your inner space, the infinite God. If God is love, when you do what you love, you're in the infinite. That's why time flees. We know that scientifically. Einstein, when you move at the speed of light, time changes. When you're living in God, which is the light, time changes. Everybody on earth gets older than you. People who are living in drag, dread, and fear, and heaviness, and weight. And so because we're now living in a divine space and God is present, which gives you everything you want because it unconditionally loves you. When you do those things that you don't like, think about it. When you go to a doctor's office or a dentist's office and you sit there for 30 to 45 minutes, that seems like 4 days. Bryce says, thank you for your thoughts. Life is a constant research in search of absolute truth. What is the absolute truth? I will dare be boldly to venture and to give you the absolute truth. This is not my opinion. This is the absolute truth. If we all agree that bliss is the ultimate goal, this is how I know it's the absolute truth. If bliss is the ultimate goal, that is our baseline. That is our measurement stick. We know God, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, source, whatever, the tree of life, it doesn't matter what you call it. I'm not seeking that which is labeled. I'm seeking that which is beyond labels. But no matter what you call it, if that thing I am seeking is the reservoir of bliss, and bliss is the measurement stick, I'm going to give you the absolute truth. Whatever makes you feel empowered, blissful, alive, passionate, on spiritual fire, and that you crave nothing else but it. That's the absolute truth. For you, it may be doing this. For this person, it may be doing that. The absolute truth is only one, though it is multifaceted within every one. It's multifaceted and lives in every one. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you, beautiful lady. So the beginning of this broadcast, before I close, you guys are delicious tonight. I love you. Was talking about how does it feel to be manipulated by an extraterrestrial race? But guess what? The good... All right, y'all, it's been my time. If one final refresh here, if anyone has anything you would like to ask, share. I'd appreciate it. I'm going to be posting Radical Transformation again before I leave. This type of banner really soon, and a lot, because it's going down this Sunday, 5 o'clock. You sharing it would fill my heart with joy. I'm going to put the admission price, which is $20. I will never turn it one away. If you can't afford $20, show up anyway. Give what you got. And it ain't about the money. Give yourself. Bring you to the event. Even if you have no money, bring you to the event and give. Ebb yourself to flow into this event. Get there early. I would love to meet and greet with you. If you're not from the Memphis area, a road trip is always nice. I might be playing, in fact, I'm playing music that weekend. If you happen to come to town a little early, a day early, if you want to go to hang out and hear this cool presentation with this awesome pianist and hang out with some phenomenal people, you're in town, contact me, tell you where I'm playing. It'd be great. So again, the question I pose, did it freeze when did the video go off when I was announcing people's names? Because I did look on Facebook to see who all was here, that this particular software does not show who is in the room. Either way, I'll figure it out when I watch it back. I think I'm going to close with a piece of Lavender Soul music. I guess I won't. Because I turned it off. Huh. It froze about 5 minutes ago. My guess, it could be internet traffic. Let me find Lavender Soul. I'm going to go out with a piece of Lavender Soul music. Again, as always, I appreciate y'all being here. You have my heart. Go to this folder where I know things is. Play.
Remember that all things are possible.
I'm going to play Renee's favorite song. One night I came home from a gig, had a bunch of people in my house, had a violin player in my house, late night party. I bust out the acoustic. He goes, man, do you mind if I go get my violin? I said, no, he had a fiddle. I said, go get it. And I started playing this riff, this guitar, the structure of chords on a guitar. I had a song. So I titled the song Breathe. Powerful song. It ebbs and flows. Listen to the piano solo in here by that gentleman in the coat. It'll blow you away. So again, y'all, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll be seeing you soon. Radical Transformation, March 11th. Lavender Soul. Song called Breathe. Our religious leaders, all of us, they're trying to damn this. It's called the veil. The veil that separates us from divine consciousness. This is not about blaming them. This is about empowering you with the information so you can take in the information and go, oh my God, we are being influenced and held at bay by our consciousness that is keeping us dumbed down. Using that information, you can take it and look at it objectively and kiss it and love it and appreciate it. Go, oh my God, I know why I'm here on earth. I am here to illuminate this place into a space of divine fire. And the demons get cast out. And we become heaven on earth. We become the chosen. We become the meek. We become the children of light. The children of God. That stomps out anything and everything that represents density, darkness, and fear. And the world and humanity ascends to a state of absolute peace, unity, and brotherhood. And the meek will and are now inheriting the earth. I love you. I love you, dear Lord, I love you. Live in the light. Be the difference. The world needs your energy. The world needs you. Dear Lord knows I do. Peace, love, and light to you.